morning. It is Tuesday, April 14th, and today we are going to find density and population density using D equals M over V and PD equals P over A. So what that means is density equals mass over volume, and population density equals population over area. Now, population density technically doesn't fit into this unit. It's not volume in three-dimensional objects. It doesn't really fit anywhere else. I like to throw it in this lesson since we're talking about density and population density. They're kind of similar in the procedure, so that's why that's going to be in here. It's a really simple lesson. To find density, we're going to first calculate volume and then just put the mass over the volume. For population density, we're going to first calculate the area and then put the population over the area. So, Farmer John. So this is density in your volume and three-dimensional objects packet. Farmer John has a farm with a chicken pen in it. The chicken pen is rectangular, measuring 5 yards by 7 yards. If there are 48 chickens in the pen, what is the population density? Well, population density, PD PA. Population density is population over area. I'm going to start by finding the area. The area of a rectangle is length times width. Length times width is 35 square yards. So my population density is my population. There are 48 chickens over the area, which is 35 square yards. Who wants me to round to, this is my favorite, the nearest tenth of a chicken? It kind of makes me chuckle every time I see it, but I've been seeing it for 15 years now, so I don't chuckle as much as I used to, but I just find that unit very funny. Yeah, I'm kind of a nerd. Nearest tenth of a chicken, so I'm going to divide those. 48 divided by 35. To the nearest tenth, 1.4. So it's 1.4 chickens per square yard. So you'll see population density a lot. You'll see that talked about in social studies. You hear that talked about a lot right now, actually, with everything that's going on. In areas that are more densely populated, that have a higher population density, you'll see that the spread of COVID-19 is a lot higher, because what population density measures is how many people or chickens or whatever is within a specific space. So the big reason why we're having such an outbreak in New York City right now and on Long Island surrounding that is because New York City is, I believe, is the most population dense area in the world. So when there's so many people in a small amount of space, it's a lot more easy for these things to spread, and that's what population density measures. It's saying in this particular circumstance, if I'm looking at this chicken pen, for every square yard, there's an average of 1.4 chickens. Does that mean we're slicing chickens into tenths? No, it just means on average, each square yard has 1.4 chickens. The more dense it is, the more tightly together everything is. That's what population density measures. So again, to find population density is population over area, PD PA. Just write that in. PD PA for short to help us remember. And then we find the area. Once we have the area, we sub into PD PA, and we have our answer. We're going to do one more population density question together. Jennifer is having her Sweet 16 on a giant circular patio with a radius of 7.2 meters. There are 83 people at the party. What's the population density? Well, population density, PD PA. Population density is population over area. So the area of a circle is on your reference sheet. It's pi r squared. So it's pi 7.2 squared. I go to my calculator. Because it says to round, I'm going to type the pi in. I have 162 dot dot dot. So my population density, well, the population, there's 83 people over 162 dot 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 meters squared. I divide them. 83 divided by second answer to the nearest tenth is 0.5 people per square meter. So what that means is, on average, every square meter of deck at this party, there's half a person there. So this is a lot more spread out than the chicken situation. The chickens, they were very much more tightly together. This one is a little bit more spread out. I guess Jennifer doesn't have that many friends that everyone's so tight together. So that's population density. Population density, again, it measures the amount of people or whatever per unit of area. You know, somewhere like New York City is very population dense. Somewhere like, you know, the Midwest, the middle of Kansas is the opposite of that. It has a very low population density because there's not a lot of people per unit of area. So an example I always use, you know, what has a greater population? Canada or Westbury? And the answer is Canada. You know, Canada definitely has more people than Westbury does. But then if I ask you what has a greater population density, that answer would be Westbury, because Westbury is a lot of people. There's not a lot of open area. There's a lot of families, a lot of houses in a small area. Whereas Canada is so spread out that the population density is going to be a lot less. So that's the difference between population and population density. Population density measures how many people there are per unit of area, whereas population is just how many people, period. Hopefully that makes sense to you. We're going to move to the other side of the sheet now. Take a look at number 5. A brick that weighs 1,824 grams has dimensions that measure 4 by 3 by 8. What is the density? So density is 3-dimensional. Population density is 2-dimensional. And density is DMV. Density equals mass over volume. So just like everything in this unit, I have to start by finding the volume. It's a brick. It's a rectangular prism brick that measures 4 by 3 by 8. So the volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. So that's 8 times 3 times 4. 8 times 3 times 4. That's 96 cubic centimeters. So density is mass. The mass is 1,824 grams over the volume. So to the nearest tenth, I'm going to divide them. 1824 divided by 96 is 19 to the nearest tenth, 0.0 grams per cubic centimeter. So now we're talking 3-dimensionally. In 1 cubic centimeter, we have 19 grams. Something that's heavy is going to be, a lot more dense than something that's not. Like a brick, something that's very heavy is considered dense because even though a brick's not that big, in a small amount of volume, you have a lot of mass. That's what density measures. You'll see density talked about in chemistry as well. Same formula. Density equals mass over volume. So again, we're going to start by finding the volume. Once I find the volume, I just sub into the formula. We're just going to do one more together, and then after that, you're going to move on. A cylindrical candle holder. Let's draw my cylinder. It's a very nice cylinder I drew. Thank you. Has a diameter of 4.5 centimeters, a height of 20 centimeters. If the candle holder has a mass of 2,900, what's its density? Well, DMV. Density is mass over volume. I'm going to start by finding the volume. Volume of the cylinder from your reference sheets, pi r squared h. Be careful, the radius is half of the diameter, so that'll be 2.25 squared. The height is 20. That 5 is annoying me. Bad 5. Very bad 5. Better 5. So I'm going to type that into the calculator. Where'd my calculator go? There it is. Pi 2.25 squared. It's kind of hard to see these little buttons. Times the height, 20, 318. So I write 318 dot because there's more after that 318. That's cubic centimeters. Now that I have the volume, density is mass over volume. The mass is 2,900 grams. The volume is 318 dot cubic centimeters. So I have 2,900 divided by, I can copy and paste that to the nearest whole number, 9 grams per cubic centimeter. So, DMV, PD pi, density equals mass over volume, population density equals population over area. For density, first find the volume, then do mass over volume. For population density, first do area, then just put your population over area. Pretty simple, straightforward lesson. It builds off of volume that we've been doing for a while now. And that's it. I've got a quiz for you. Get that completed. Your classwork/homework is to finish. Any questions, reach out to me in Reminds, and I hope you guys have a great day.